He told me to keep my trash off his property after a windstorm scattered debris. I was still cleaning when he walked over and dumped my bins down the hill. When I confronted him, he said, "Do something about it." I did. But not with my hands, with a formal report that made his new addition illegal. I've lived in the same house for 17 years. It's a modest one-story on a quiet street about 30 minutes outside Spokane, Washington. The neighborhood is old but decent. You've got retirees, single moms, blue-collar folks like me. Most of us just want to be left alone. I'm a widower. My wife, Hannah, died 4 years ago. Cancer. It happened fast. One day she had a cough. 6 months later, I was picking out a headstone. I don't really talk about it. Since then, it's just been me and this house. My 2 sons moved out. One's in Boise, the other somewhere in Texas. I keep to myself now. Yard work, old radio shows, fixing what breaks. Nothing fancy. The guy who used to live next door, Pete, was a good man. We weren't best friends, but we'd talk over the fence, help each other with snow or lawnmower repairs. When he and his wife moved away last year, I figured we'd get another quiet family. Then Todd moved in. He showed up with a moving truck and an attitude. Right away, he rubbed people the wrong way, always revving his truck like it made him taller. Loud music, loud voice, never waved. He started construction in the backyard a few weeks after moving in, some big addition to the house. I assumed it was all above board. I'm not the type to snoop. Live and let live, you know? But then he started acting weird about our property lines. One day I noticed my garden hose was moved. Another time, some shrubs on my side were trimmed like someone had taken hedge clippers and drawn an invisible line. I didn't say anything. I let it go. Then the windstorm hit. It was a freak thing. Gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Branches everywhere, garbage cans rolling down the street. I'd put my bins out the night before. They were lined up against my side fence, full of old siding, yard clippings, and a few heavy bags of leaves. Sometime during the night, one of the bins blew open. Trash scattered, some of it landing in the space between our houses. Not a huge mess, but noticeable. I came out early with gloves and a rake. I was halfway through cleaning it when I heard his gate slam. Todd came out wearing his stupid Oakley sunglasses and a smirk like he owned the damn block. He stood there for a second, arms crossed, looking at the mess. Then he said, "Keep your trash off my property." I stopped raking. "It's a windstorm. I'm picking it up." "You people don't respect boundaries," he said. Just like that. Like I was some kind of criminal for having a few leaves on his rocks. Then, while I was still crouched down, he walked past me, grabbed one of the upright bins, and shoved it with both hands. It tipped, rolled, and then bounced right over the edge of the slope behind our houses. I watched it go. The lid flew off, and trash spilled everywhere down the embankment. I stood up and stared at him. "What the hell is your problem?" He didn't even flinch. Just looked at me and said, "Do something about it." Then he turned and walked back to his deck like nothing had happened. I didn't follow him. I didn't yell. I went back to my garage, closed the door, and sat down. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from rage. I haven't hit anyone since high school, but that day I came close. Instead, I started thinking, if he was going to act like I was some lowlife, maybe it was time someone looked a little closer at his perfect backyard project. I remembered seeing some things over the last few weeks. Big deliveries. Loud power tools late into the night. No company signs on the trucks. And not once had I seen a single permit posted. Nothing on the door. Nothing in the windows. Around here, any addition has to be reviewed and approved. If you build without permission and someone reports it, you're screwed. So I reported it. Quietly. Anonymously. And what happened next? Let's just say Todd picked the wrong neighbor to mess with. After I filed the report, I didn't expect anything to happen right away. It was just an online form on the city's website. I attached a photo I took from my upstairs window, the one that showed the new structure behind his house, still half wrapped in plastic and Tyvek. I wrote that I believed the addition might be unpermitted and asked for it to be checked. Then I waited. 3 weeks passed. Todd didn't seem to notice anything. He kept working on that thing with the same small crew. 3 guys who showed up in beat-up trucks with no logos. They were fast, too. Framing, siding, even started laying roof shingles. Every night I watched them from my kitchen, wondering if maybe I was wrong. Maybe he had the paperwork and just never posted it. But then, a white sedan showed up. It was on a Wednesday morning. Todd was out back with one of the workers when the car pulled up. 2 people got out, one in a city jacket, the other holding a clipboard. I saw them knock on his front door. Todd met them there. I couldn't hear what was said, but his body language changed fast. Hands on hips. Lots of head shaking. Then shouting. He kept pointing back toward my house. I knew what he was doing. He was guessing. Trying to figure out who turned him in. Later that night, after they left, I saw him standing in his yard just staring at my house. Lights off, just watching. The next morning, there was caution tape around the entire addition. A red notice stapled to the frame. Construction stopped. The city had found multiple violations, no permits filed, no inspections passed. Todd was fined on the spot. He was ordered to stop all work immediately. I should have felt good. I should have felt like justice was done. But Todd didn't back off. He got worse. First it was little stuff. My mailbox got knocked off its post. I found tire marks across my front lawn. He started mowing right up to the fence line, letting the clippings blow onto my side. One night, I came out to find dead fish in my trash bin. Just dumped in there, rotting. I didn't say a word. I just kept watching, writing things down. Dates, times, pictures. Every time he crossed the line, I documented it. Then came the real twist. About a month later, I got a letter in the mail from the city. Not addressed to resident. Addressed to me by name. It said there was a formal complaint about unauthorized fencing on my property line. The fencing in question? A short, wooden barrier I'd installed years ago, back when Pete still lived next door. It had never been a problem. I knew immediately who filed the complaint. Todd was trying to get back at me. Tit for tat. Only difference was my fence was legal. I had the original documents, the permit, the property line drawing, all of it. So I sent it in. But while I was digging through that old paperwork, I found something else. Something about Todd's house. Something he didn't know I had. It was an old folder kept in the back of my filing cabinet under insurance papers and tax stuff. Inside was a survey map from when I first bought the house. It showed the exact property lines, certified by a county surveyor. I'd forgotten all about it. Looking closer, something clicked. When Todd built that addition, he didn't just violate the permit rules. He'd crossed the boundary. By over 3 feet. His new structure, the one with all the windows and the little deck out back, was partially built on my land. I stared at the map, then went outside and measured it myself. Tape measure, orange stakes. Took photos, marked it all out. It matched what the old survey showed. He had built part of his illegal addition on my property. At first, I couldn't believe it. Then I got angry all over again. He treated me like garbage, dumped my trash, harassed me for weeks, and now here it was, clear as day. He thought no one would notice. But I noticed. I didn't go to him. I didn't yell. I didn't even knock on his door. I sent everything, map, photos, timeline, to a land use attorney I found online. Paid the consultation fee out of pocket. The guy called me back the next day and said, "You've got him. This is serious." He explained my options. I could file a formal boundary dispute. If the court sided with me, Todd would be ordered to tear down the part of the structure that crossed the line. It could cost him tens of thousands to fix. Asked if I had a good case. The lawyer said, "You've got more than a good case. You've got proof." He doesn't. So I filed. Within 2 weeks, Todd got the notice. That's when he snapped. He came to my front door at 9 at night, banged on it so hard I thought the glass would break. I didn't open it. I called the police. From inside, I could hear him yelling through the door. "You're dead, old man. You think you're smart? You think you won't pay for this?" The cops came. They talked to him first, then me. He was warned, but not arrested. I filed a restraining order the next morning. After that, he went quiet. But the damage was already done. The city was still on him for the unpermitted work, and now he was facing a lawsuit that could force him to rip part of his house down. He stopped construction entirely. The plastic sheeting stayed up for weeks, flapping in the wind. His crew never came back. Neighbors started asking questions. Why's his addition stopped? Is it true he built over the line? I never answered. I didn't have to. But then something happened that I didn't expect. One morning, I woke up to find a for sale sign in his yard. No warning. No open house. Just a sign. That's when I realized he was trying to get out before everything crashed down. But I wasn't done yet. I watched that for sale sign like a hawk. At first, I thought maybe he'd just give up and leave. But then I remembered what the attorney told me. Any unresolved legal disputes or land issues have to be disclosed when selling a property. If he tried to sell without mentioning the ongoing boundary case, he could be sued again, this time by the buyer. So I made a quiet call. I didn't tell the realtor who I was. I just asked if the property had any pending legal or zoning issues. She said, "Nope, not that I'm aware of." That was all I needed. I sent an official letter through my attorney to both the realtor and the real estate board. I included the court documents, my survey map, and a copy of the city's stop work order. I made sure it was all documented. That's when the real trouble started for Todd. The listing came down 3 days later. Not sold. Just gone. Now he couldn't build. He couldn't sell. He couldn't finish the addition, and he couldn't legally live in it if he tried. And all the while, he had to live next door to me. Every morning when he stepped out onto that half-built deck, he had to look at my house and remember exactly what I did. He didn't talk to me after that. Just kept his head down. But I saw the way he moved slower, like someone carrying something heavy they couldn't put down. He still mowed his lawn, but he didn't rev his truck anymore. No more music. No more loud nights. One morning, I watched him haul a mattress out to the curb. That's when I knew it was over. He was leaving. But before he did, he tried one more thing. He filed a counterclaim, said I was harassing him, watching him, interfering with his life. He claimed emotional distress. I had to go to court for it. The judge took one look at the paperwork and threw it out. "You threatened your neighbor," the judge said. He responded within his legal rights. That was it. Case closed. But I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel like a winner. I just felt tired. All this over a trash bin and a few feet of land. It shouldn't have gone this far. But Todd made it go that far. And now? Now the house sits empty. He moved out a month ago. Still hasn't sold. The city never cleared the construction. That plastic sheet is still up. Birds have started nesting in the rafters. Sometimes I sit on my porch with my coffee and just stare at it. Not because I like what happened, but because I know he won't forget what I did. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted to be left alone. But sometimes, when someone pushes you too far, silence stops working. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't raise my hands. I just made sure the right people looked a little closer. And now, every time I walk past that empty house with the unfinished back wall and the wind ripping through it, I wonder if he ever realized how easy it would have been to just say sorry.